Welcome to Women's Brew, where women talk about beer. We may be slowly making our way towards warmer weather, but in today's episode, we're all about Unbarred's Cold IPA. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. Right, well, today we're very excited. We have got Jordan from Unbarred with us. Hello and welcome.
Hello,
Welcome.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are, who the brewery is, what you do, why you might be here to talk to us today?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Jordan Moore. I'm the head brewer and founder of Unbarred. And Unbarred started in Hove, part of Brighton and Hove, in a shed, literally in my garden, and managed to register that as Hove's first nano brewery. Nice. And from there, I went to the first brewery where I very quickly worked my way up to head brewer and got my qualification at the Institute of Brewing and Distilling. And from there, I got headhunted or poached by a contract brewery. At the time, they were a very small outfit, only a 500 litre Braumeister. You know the ones where you like the ball in the bag.
Yep.
And they had about 4 tanks at the time, and I started brewing on that. And they were like, "Well, if you can sell those tanks, we'll get more." And now they're a very big outfit. I was brewing that got scaled up to an American kit, SS Brew Tech, like the homebrew kit. It was like the first commercial import to the UK. And I was brewing for lots of local breweries and international breweries, some now who are friends, and very large commercial breweries, all the way up to Goose Island. So I brewed a lot of different styles, worked for a lot of different breweries, and from that point I was literally designing the beer, brewing it, selling it, delivering it out the back of my car. And that then became our new home. I say new home now. It's 2.5 years ago we got our home in Brighton, which is a tap room with 14 taps, and the brewery grew 4 times in 2.5 years, even considering that we were only open for 6 months and COVID hit us. So yeah, it's been a good story, a growth story, and the beers are very much a reflection of the town. And growing up with lots of creatives around us. Brighton is an amazing creative place. We use different photographers, illustrators, visual artists, work with as many people as we can locally to create the cans, which I know hopefully you got some there, and just show lots of diversity. We don't want to be held as a hazy brewery or just an adjunct brewery. We want to go on a journey of pushing quality control behind as many far out there ideas there are, but with quality and consistency. So a lot of people hopefully that have jumped on the journey with us are getting more people involved. So opportunities like this is great to share the story.
I was going to say, I think from I'm only probably about an hour and a half away from you. I'm Berkshire, I'm near Reading. So I'm not massively far away.
I was trying to go to you on Friday, actually. I was going to go to Siren, but the storm stopped us. Yeah.
I was there on Saturday. So
were you?
Yeah, I was there Saturday. I was meeting a friend for lunch and we went from Siren across to Elusive. I didn't go on Friday because I was like, I'm not going to venture out in this weather. And I think the wind came and broke their front door, and then Saturday the power was out, so it was exciting. Exciting times. Not really exciting for them in a good way, but it was exciting. But I'm not massively far away from you, and sometimes I help out like Full Circle at festivals and stuff, and they were coming down to do your birthday thing, and I was like, I mean, I can work that if you want. I'm not massively far, and then it ended up not happening, and I was so gutted because I was like, I wanted to go down to Unbarred. I just haven't made it's that thing of like, you don't make the time to do it,
Yeah.
until like you have a reason to. And then like I love Brighton, like I love all that. And I was just like, oh, this is the reason that I needed. My husband went on a stag do somewhere, and it was between Brighton and somewhere else. And I kept trying to say, no, you want to go to Brighton because then I can give you like a good list of places that you guys can go to drink. And you guys were on the list of like, I was like, you have to go there. And then like bring me a beer back. And they vetoed him on it. So I was really gutted. I was like, I didn't get my free beer delivery from you. Thanks.
Well, hopefully this year we'll have our birthday. It'll be the 3rd year we've been there, and because of COVID again, we haven't been able to celebrate it. So
fingers firmly crossed.
Fingers crossed, you'll be
I'll definitely,
third time lucky. Yeah,
I'll definitely be down with that.
All right,
really excited.
Yeah, excited. Right, so one of the things that we want to talk about today was the Cold IPA.
Yes.
That, I believe is released now. Is it released? It's released now, isn't it?
Literally just last week. Yeah.
Yes. So perfect. People will be able to get this. What is a cold IPA?
That was my main question. I was like, Joe, is this going to be a really stupid question?
Like,
and I was like, no. I feel dim. And she was like, no.
No, I've heard of them. I know they're big in America at the minute. I think that they're just creeping over here. So do you want to tell us?
They are
we're going to pour it.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us what they are? Yeah.
So, Cold IPA, and what we pulled from it is basically IPA, without a doubt. Cold being referring to the yeast that we use. So we've used a lager yeast or a Pilsner yeast in this beer. And so we fermented at ale temperatures. So it's technically not fermented cold at the beginning at all. You let it rip and you let the hops work with that. And the hop, what really interested me with this is using a Pilsner strain, but getting a bit of biotransformation from high fermentation with loads of really tropical juicy hops, which you may probably see in an IPA. But then in the body of it, we use 30% rice hulls, which you would not rice hulls, sorry, rice and rice hulls, because it turns to a gelatinous mess and is a nightmare to deal with on the Loudstream. But that would help basically clean up the body and make it a background feature, so it's crisp. I mean, it's 8.4%. It drinks, well, hopefully you think it does. It drinks a lot lighter than that.
Yeah,
it does. But like when you were saying fruity, like the Nipa type, like even the smell you get fruity, and the taste is just this like lovely fruitiness, but that big like crisp bite to it. It's really beautiful.
Thank you. I'm particularly happy with this beer as a moment. Is bringing lots of new different science together and doing a hybrid of different styles of IPAs, but it's definitely not an IPA or a heavily dry hop lager. It is a warm fermented Pilsner with hops used in a modern way. And then you can use Krausening is what Wayfinder, American brewery that are doing it successfully and speaking about it quite a lot. So they're taking off yeast from another lager or Pilsner that's fermenting off the top and putting that back into this beer to help clean it and finish it off at the end. We had no issue cleaning this beer up anyway. The yeast went crazy all the way through, and at the end just clean everything up beautifully. And then we lagered it really cold on even more dry hops as well. But yeah, we won't allow, or we're trying not to allow people to have pints of this in the tap room, because people want a session on this.
It tastes like a session beer.
When you said 8.4%,
I was like, what?
No, especially like I've had the last few days of like quite heavy drinking, and I was like, got to rally, got to do it again tonight. It's good. But I didn't even look at the ABVs. Then you were like 8.4%. I was like, hang on a minute, let me just have another look at that, because it does not.
I was like,
I know our session levels like since COVID have like risen from normal session levels to like 6-7%, but yeah, this is very smooth drinking.
It's absolutely beautiful to look at.
So yeah, it's pretty crystal clear, isn't it? There's not much haze on there at all either. And So working with sort of the lager-esque aspect of it as well is we did fine it, all natural finings, still vegan, but we wanted to go with that and a good lacing that goes down the glass like you would a lager. But yeah, it's actually creating a really subtle base just for all the hops to shine, and I think that's what really helps mistake you for how strong it is, because there's no big heavy body to go with that ABV. You're chasing that hop juice.
Literally. And I'm usually like a darks drinker.
Mm-hmm.
And
she usually passes all of her hoppy beers to me, and I love it. I'm like, that's cool.
And Galaxy and Idaho 7 are not my faves, but they're absolutely beautiful in this. Like, you're really getting
great
fruit from them. You were like, where's this going?
And I hate it.
You're like, where's this going?
It's a very smooth drink, but it's awful.
Because I pick up like the vegetalness of heavily hop things really easily, and it puts me off a bit. But it's all fruit.
Yeah.
Right. And we through our IPA series, NEPA series we did last year, we find personally anyway, Galaxy can be used in the wrong way. It's not necessarily the hop itself. I've found if people go straight up Galaxy, we'll just put loads of Galaxy in. It's a really expensive, lovely tropical hop. Great, that'll do the job. But Galaxy has loads of cohumulanes, and you get so much bitterness. And like you say, I find if you put it in the boil, you're going to get that vegetable character coming through. If you put too much during dry hopping, you get that vegetable grassy. It doesn't go away, and it stays quite bitter, and it's really disappointing. So with Galaxy, we go quite subtle on high fermentation, maybe a tiny bit in Whirlpool. Just don't overdo it, and you'll only get the lovely tropical high notes of it.
Where did you first hear about cold IPAs? Like, was there a particular brewery or a particular person that you spoke to?
Wayfinder. Yeah, and I think it was Wayfinder in the States. I'm pretty sure they're the first ones. I had to pull together this year. Well, it was my own task, but I wanted to do every other month a double brew of an IPA, and looking for all the different IPAs, what they could be. Maybe we'll do a hybrid. And but the first one, when I started really digging into it and found, Wayfinder had done this cold IPA. Just absolutely fascinated me. And fortunately, it's come out good.
Yeah, it's really lovely.
Can
you tell us what other IPAs are going to be in the series that you're planning? Or is that secret?
No, not too big a secret. We haven't announced it anywhere, I don't think. But we are going to do a New England IPA, like we've done before, but very different. We're going to do a No Coast, which we did a beer called Central IPA last year, which again, really enjoying some bitterness in beers again, but used in the right way. So it was last time it was juicy, hazy, but not opaque, but it had just this clean underlying bitterness, and it was just long and gentle that just makes you salivate and want more. So really enjoying going on this of bringing back bitterness in beers. So we're going to do another No Coast, which will have some bitterness, but using New England methods with getting really juicy characters from the hops. We're going to do a black IPA, which I've done before. And I love a black IPA.
I love a black IPA.
I'm so happy I'm right near Elusive, and Andy loves black IPAs, because I'm just like, cha-ching, more black IPAs. It's great.
Brilliant. So we'll definitely be doing that. And a Belgian IPA using Le Chouf's yeast strain, or Ardennes yeast strain, which we do in a similar beer called 3Bs, a Belgian beach IPA, Belgian IPA. And I think that's probably the 6. We're also going to do, but it's not quite part of the series, but we're working with Ron Patterson, who's a historian in the beer world. And he's working with us and giving us a recipe that was used in World War II,
Oh, wow.
We're going to be in our town during World War II, which more likely you would have just asked for a beer, and this is what you would have got, like a 3.8% trad beer.
Oh, wow.
So again, the excitement of old school being the new school.
Okay. No, I think that's so interesting. Like, I always find it, you should do like a whole series that are like old style beer of like when you'd go in a particular date or location to be like, I'd like a beer, please, and what is the style of what you'd likely be given and stuff. Because I find that so interesting to know historically, if you were drinking a beer in, hundreds of years ago, like, oh, what would the normal be? Like, if I went in and I was like, beer, please, what would the normal be? So I find that so interesting to like play around with that as well. That idea is insane. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a really good one, and we've managed to find loads of local Facebook groups where they're doing like Brighton past, and there's some amazing pictures of so many famous buildings that were obviously around during the time, all the Regency Brighton buildings.
Yeah.
And you can then see pictures of like gunners on the beach, and then people walking across the street, and it's of the time. We've obviously got like rockabillys now and curled back hair, but it was of that style, so you can see everyone walking around with this really cool style during World War II. So to dig into the depths of the history of it as well, and do a bit of the nuance of the mash tun, and not so much about big hop explosions. For me, that's, as a geek, that's really interesting.
Yeah, right. People forget. Like, I was reading something the other day and someone was like, oh, people forget about malt. They forget that that's an important ingredient in beer.
It is.
And they do.
Absolutely.
It's like, it's all about the hops. What hops are in it? What's this in it? Well, actually, we've made it with this list of amazing grains.
So even the different like yeast strains and stuff, it would be so interesting. It would be so interesting to see like a series where it's like one style of beer, but you're playing around with the different yeast strains, or like you said, the different malt bills you can do. And I think like something like that, where the focus actually isn't on the hops, but the particular style that it is and how it's changing depending on those other ingredients versus the hops. I think that would just be so interesting. But exactly.
Oh, there's so far to go with it. So far to go with it. Yeah.
So many things you can do.
You mentioned about having like really amazing artists there, and obviously you used your local artists as the people that you get inspiration from that. What is the inspiration behind the label for the Cold IPA?
So the Cold IPA label here, with us doing an IPA tour, we're calling it, or an IPA series this year, with a lot of IPAs, it's quite hard to come to a concept of a label. So this is Snap Clicker, who is a visual artist, and he spray painted right around the corner from the brewery, which is extremely hard in Brighton to find any wall space left, for the first of the series. And we're going to work with 5 more local artists to do hopefully a wall if they can. But what they're actually all going to do in common is they're going to do a giant canvas each, and then at the end of the year we're going to do a big auction, hopefully at Soho House, which is just about to open up in Brighton. And we're going to auction a whole lot away, and all of the proceeds go to Audio Active, which is a local charity giving young people the opportunity to have a creative outlet through music and training and support. And there's some amazing acts that have come from this program. So again, visual creativity going back into community, which beer community, perfect alignment, and then back into the music industry and supporting local youth.
That's amazing. That is, like, I don't know, I can't even, all I can say is that's amazing. Like the concept of, you've thought that out so well about like, we're going to do this label, but then also we're going to do this, and we're going to raise money off of it. Like, that is nice. Well done.
Constantly creating more and more and more projects.
You must have like all the free time in the world. Like, you'll probably, how are you? I mean, this was probably like nothing to just jump on here. No, of course. I'm like, how are you even on here right now? How are you not like doing charity stuff? Like, what is
time to do all the right things, but it's things like these projects that keep me going, that really keep forcing it. You know, the brewing schedule hasn't been dialed into every single brew for the entire year, but the big projects like this are standing out, and there's a clear timeline and there's a clear goal at the end of it. But I still have more ideas of what I'd like us to produce than we physically can at our current site. We just can't get everything done. So yeah, if I had more people in a bigger brewery, we'd be able to do even more.
I guess
the way.
Here's hoping that in the coming next few years of being in that location, you can continue to grow and be able to like hit that optimal brew schedule of what you want. Because I think like the stuff you guys
are looking, thank you. We are a big site on the size of what we're doing now, and then that will give us opportunities to have even bigger projects. We got a small barrel aging project, but we got a really big idea for lots of different things that we'd like to do and incorporate in that site. So yeah, more to go for. But yeah, thank you. I think we're on track to get there.
I think I want to crack open the juicy if I'm honest.
You're going to crack open the juicy?
Yeah, I think I'm going to crack open the juicy. I'm going to save the rest of my cold IPA for after this, when I can do my sad beer photo thing notes. So I can take my notes and everything.
Yeah, so we've got juicy as well to have a little try of. It's got a lovely label too. I've also got here, while we were talking about the series of IPAs, I've got one of, I believe this is one of the other versions. This is Ella and Big Secret. Yeah.
I was going to say, that's got a photo of the pier on it.
Yeah, and that's got the pier on it, if for anyone that's watching the video.
That's
got one of those as well.
So that was all local photographers, some amateur, some professional, giving a view of Brighton from more of what a local would see, rather than a stick of rock and a seagull. Yeah. So we got loads of just really interesting sites and places you would know around Brighton if you walked for a little bit, rather than tourist guides. But yeah, we had that was hard because we did one every single month. This year I've decided to do a bigger volume every other month, but get more behind the program for each one.
It's funny you mentioned the sticker rock, because I remember, like, obviously maybe not obvious to you, but I've not lived here my whole life, so it's that thing of like, I remember somebody going on holiday and saying like, oh yeah, I went and I bought a rock, and I was like,
did you think like a rock?
Yeah, like I was like, I don't understand. Like, why would you buy somebody a rock as a present? Like, I don't really understand. And they were like, a stick of rock. I was like, I don't understand. What does that mean? And then they showed it, and I was like, oh, it's just the context they were using it. They were like, I brought home like a rock, some rock. Yeah. And I was like, that's a weird thing to. I was like, you can get that for free. You don't have to buy that. And it was just, so you say like stick a rock just brought back memories to me, being like, what are you talking about? I know now, so it makes sense.
That is the tourist street.
So classic British seaside.
Yeah,
I'll stick a rock home.
I've learned that now. So you had mentioned, obviously, you had gone from sort of the shed to like you had a whole progress up until you didn't just go directly into sort of your own brewing space, your own independent brewing space in that sense, on this level anyways. So are there things that you miss from, shed life, as I'll call it, or are there things that you're like, I am so happy that I don't have to deal with any of that anymore?
Oh, tough question.
I know this is the journalist side of me coming out. I've got to use my brain on those questions.
Well, the last, I would say probably the last, unless we got a collab or we're very short staffed, I'm very rarely on the brew house anymore, because it sounds really pretentious, but I'm managing director now. But being MD is mostly people coming to you with problems.
Yeah.
But I'm pushing marketing, I'm pushing sales, operations. I'm sort of head of operations currently. Got a new guy starting next week. Can't wait.
Yay.
So covering a lot of different things all at the same time. If someone said to me, "We can not anything, must that be beautiful?" But I know if I do that, then the business will suffer because I need to be able to focus and give everyone the support they need in their departments and push everything else forward. So it would feel like a holiday if you could take my worries away and just let me brew on the kit. But at the same time, it takes days to get yourself, when you're sort of researching a beer idea and you just need to go down that hole and you need to research it. Again, if you're on the brew house, you haven't got the time to really dig deep into that and do it justice. And there have been times where I've done enough to get the beer through and I was like, I wish I had the time to spend a bit more on that. If I just changed the water treatment that little bit, I could have really helped this pop, that little detail. So I'm off the brew house now to make that happen. If that answers your question in a political answer.
No, I think that does. I think that definitely does. So like when it comes to making the recipes, and just a question that I've just thought of as you were saying that, when it comes to making the recipes, then do you still develop sort of the recipes yourself? Do you collaborate with the people that are on the brew floor now, or how does that work when you're doing something that's as creative or experimental maybe?
The way we work is my lead brewer Gary. I trust him, Russell and Lewis on the brew floor, and a guy called Will from the States has just joined us. He's part-time as well. Can't miss him all out. Everyone is with all the way through the beer's life, and we taste it all the way through. We analyze it. We go back through the recipe. If we come to, we've got a big unctuous beer. In terms of brewing a beer or designing one from scratch, everyone very much appears to want me to do that. I've offered a few times. Does anyone else anyone got an idea? We need to fit a criteria of this on this month. Throw some ideas at me, and no one ever actually goes, I really want to brew that beer. But if I say this is the beer and it's got to hit this criteria, this pH at this time, this dry hop at this time, I know they will get that done and they'll do it perfectly. So I'm very much the creative one at the moment, with no one sort of fighting to take my chair.
It's probably a bit intimidating though, isn't it? Because like if you've come up with all these like amazing and creative recipes, there's probably like some element of like, oh, I don't want to be the one that suggests something and it's either too crazy or it doesn't work, or like that would just be, I can imagine, at least from what I would think. I feel like from my position, like I would be so terrified of like throwing something out there and then having it just be like, no, that's gotta be such a kick to the ego to be like, oh no, I tried to get creative and it didn't work. Oh.
Well, there's no wrong, there's no bad question, stupid questions, and if you make a mistake, after we bloody learn. There's sort of things that you want to embrace people to do, but the brewing aspect, we 100% need a pilot kit that we can just let guys, right, this is your day, you have to brew something. I
was gonna say you should make it mandatory. Liters. Get creative, do something wild.
Even if it's every other month, like you got 2 months to plan a recipe, and it's going to be in our tap room only. I will help get more creative. They're all an incredible sounding board, and we've got a good pattern of learning between them. And maybe make it mandatory that every other month one of the brewers has to jump on that kit.
That's a really good opportunity
going on the brew side as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Have a good old play, see what happens. No wrong answers.
Exactly. In terms of like when I was preparing the last part of this episode, I came across some stuff that sounds like amazing, like the granola, apricot, peach, and honey pale. I was like, don't put it, like I was like put in an order later, like don't even put the order, wait until the next cold IPA comes out, then put an order in, or the next IPA in the series comes out before you put an order in. But I was like, that sounds amazing, and the cherry and red grape a farmhouse style saison. I was like, you don't see red grape often. Like, how do you come up with these ideas for flavors? Like, what inspires you to make these flavors combinations?
I'm very, very acute with flavors and my sense of smell. I don't tend to tell everyone because I don't want to freak them out. But I can get people to even hold a blend of 2 of our beers and swirl them, and I can pick up the 2 different beers.
That's impressive. That is impressive.
Yeah.
You need to go on one of those talent shows.
Yeah.
So I'm very in tune, and before beer, my main passion was food, and now we've moved house. I'm trying to build an outdoor kitchen so that my downtime is hopefully then back on cooking again. But flavors, smells, all linked to emotion, and I can get one concept in my head that I'm really trying to achieve, or I can work backwards and literally look at the side of a cereal packet and go, how can I make this into a beer? And it's sort of taking yourself through a process of how do I translate this into beer, and what are people expecting from this? Or it is, how far can I push this with the previous brews we've done of similar beers and the quality control? Let's push it a little bit further in this direction and actually see what happens, and share the journey with people. So yeah, it can be absolutely anything. Bueno Shake has become a core beer for us. It's meant to be a one-off. It was inspired by a chocolate bar. I can't remember which chocolate bar it was.
Escaping the mind.
Yeah,
I feel like I really wish the label even just like hinted what it might be, but you didn't even try to make the label even suggest.
Not even try. That's become one of our best-selling beers. That's our dark, one of the regulars, a core beer. We have coming out in Easter, which we haven't told many people at all, is Imperial Barrel Aged Bueno Shake. So it's 11% hazelnuts, layers and layers of chocolate, vanillin from the barrels themselves, and Buffalo Trace bourbon whiskey, and they're all bottled and ready to go. But we're letting them condition that a little bit longer, and they'll be ready for Easter. Yeah,
nice.
That's gonna be amazing. I had the Impy. I had the
the Impy can, brilliant.
Yeah, we actually had it together.
Yeah,
and we had it. We were at a place in Canterbury called the Good Shed, and it's like a little and so
farmers market-y
it's
type.
and so she'd come down to visit me, and she's like, I'm just gonna go see what they've got inside. Comes back out with a hazelnut cream pastry. And there we are, sat eating the hazelnut cream pastry with the Imperial Bueno Shake at the same time.
God!
I've got a photo. People would just like murder me in terms of clean glassware, because I took a photo of it where I sort of like had it resting like you would like a orange slice on the side of the glass. No, I don't think anybody's actually said anything, but I probably ended up on like Dirty Glass Mafia or something as like a disgrace. Why would I do that? But yeah, I still have a can of the normal. I've got a can of the normal Bueno, but I had the Impy one, and it was so good. It was so good.
If you're fans, I will put a note to send you out a bottle of it for April.
No, I'll have to.
We'll buy it. Yeah.
I like. Don't even joke. I'll buy it. Like,
buy more.
Yeah, honestly, like. My husband wanted to. I've got the normal Bueno because I was telling my husband about it. I was like, when it came out, I was like, oh my god, like look at this. And he was like, I want to try that. I was like, okay. I was like, chill. And it's like he very rarely is like, yeah, can we get that? I want to try. Like he rarely comes to me and is like, can we get that? I want to try that. And that was one of the ones that he was like, please don't drink that without me. And I was like, I won't, I promise.
That's high praise.
And we did a 4.2% Bueno. That came out January, just a nice low ABV version of it as well, and it is such a massive beer for 4.2%.
Oh, wow, no, that's I was gonna say like that is, what is the normal one? Like what is the ABV on the normal Bueno.
6.4%.
But yeah, I just with that, like, do you feel a certain amount of pressure then to get, like you were saying about how your senses, like you do have these very so the senses that can pick up this stuff very easily in that sense. Do you feel like pressure to get the flavors to match quite closely when you make something like a Bueno, or is it more just like, oh, it'll be interesting to take like the deconstructed elements of it and put it together, or do you really want to make sure you hit that mark and feel the pressure of that?
I don't know if I see it as pressure. I see it probably more as passion and obsession than pressure. Like I have to do this. You know, the cherry saison, cherry and red grape is something I want to work together with, trying to create. I had something with cherry and almonds, like a frangipane, and we've done a Bakewell tart before, which is sort of close to that journey. Am I still here?
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
And then we wanted to showcase a fantastic saison yeast strain, French saison yeast strain, but two, it's more of a wild, like a natural wine. So
Nice.
Really wanted to bring that cherry character. You get this gentle almondy character. This is all about tiny little balances, more of a descriptive when you get a wine. In wine, you can sort of describe, you know, petals and green tea on little nuances, but when you say beer, people want more of a punch in the face of it. It's like, it says coconut, I want bounty bars, you know. It craft beer is slightly different, but this was more of a let's let these gentle characters come, but we will put a whopping great volume of cherries into this. It was half a ton of cherry puree went into
when I saw that, I did like immediately, it caught my attention because I did think like red grape doesn't get used often, and I was just like, if this isn't like a wine, like I don't know what would be, because I thought it was just really interesting to throw like cherry and red grape together. So
have you had it yet?
No, I literally, as I was writing stuff up today, I was like, I'm gonna need to put in an order, because I was looking through the website and I was like, oh, that sounds really good. And I was like, I shouldn't really be buying anything. And I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to buy, aren't I? I'm gonna have to put an order in, because I can't just now unsee all these things that sound really good and really interesting.
Searching for the podcast.
You got me. I'm gonna
so dangerous for the
I'm just gonna pretend it's a podcast order. I'll be like, oh, I'm putting in this podcast order, and my husband's gonna be like, didn't you already record with them? I'll be like, no, the connection. Just we had to reschedule.
That's what we tell the husbands. We're just like that, but that's podcast beer. Like that's different. It is than the other bits.
This is market research. This is very essential things.
Yeah,
and she's got the added bonus, like when it's like, oh, it's a beer
like, that's work
thing.
Beers.
Yeah. I don't have that excuse. I just am like, oh, Joe, she just keeps sending me things. I don't know. It's crazy.
She's in the boot of her car yesterday when we met up. She had 3 boxes from my house of beer that I'd collected up for her.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Do you meet in car parks? And
no, because we were brewing together. Together.
Okay.
I haven't. She got some stuff over the Christmas period when I was in the US, and then we haven't. This brew got pushed out like quite a bit. So we're supposed to do it, I think, in Jan originally. So she wasn't supposed to have them for that long. No. And then it was like, well, I could get this podcast one because I still have your beers, and I'm putting in an order. So okay, we can get this one as well. And then next thing I know, she's rocked up with like,
I was like, you've got 3 boxes and a bag of beers at my house.
But some of it's for the podcast, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyways, it's not about my habits. We can't waste all this time talking about my habits. Let's move on. So I got, as part of what Joe had put in my bag, there was this tea bag for the Bird and Blend tea co that you guys
I'm excited about this beer.
Yes,
that is really interesting. How did that come to fruition?
So a great independent Brighton based tea mixologists, so Bird and Blend they've just done another big crowdfunding. They're doing extremely well, and they keep growing. And what they're trying to do, what they are doing successfully very well, but there aren't as much competition as we have in the beer industry, is they're challenging what a tea is, and bringing fun to it, but with really good quality ingredients. So they started from a flat in Brighton. I started from a shed in Brighton. So met up with the guys, and it was a no-brainer. We had to do something together. So with their teas, we had a selection of teas, and it was like, with this one we could do something with a Kolsch, and with this one it would probably work. And what we actually ended up doing was fun on a lot of different levels. So it's a raspberry tea sour. So the tea itself has raspberries, like whole freeze-dried raspberries. It has a green tea in there, and it has blue pea shoots, blue pea flowers, sorry, that give the color. So they're natural, they're 100% natural. And when you add lemon juice or something with a different acidity, it changes the type of blue as well. So we did a raspberry Berliner Weiss base, pretty much. And then we built up their tea with the blue pea flowers and the green tea. Excuse me, I think black tea, actually. And then we did a giant tasting together, found a sweet spot. But blue pea flowers are extremely expensive.
I can imagine.
We didn't know at the time how they were affected with acidity. So we then made a sour, which is much lower acidity. So we had to put far more blue pea to try and get this bluish purplish color. And we already had a raspberry, like lots of real fresh, pasteurized raspberries in there. So the beer was red.
Yeah.
So, and we brought the pH down. So they said they were contributing the blue peas, which was like,
oh no,
more expensive than rocket fuel. So we met halfway in the end, and we went together. It's like, we can't finish the concept and not bring this color to it now.
Yeah,
that's the thing, isn't it? Because once you start it, and then you're like, this is going to be an amazing idea, and then it's in your head.
Yes,
you can't, and you've got the right balance, and you've got like, you can't. You're like, but we can't just give up on it now.
There's a really
make it work.
There's a really great phrase that one of my artist friends used to say, and it was like, she's writing creative checks that she's got, like she's signing creative checks that she's got to cash. Like now she's decided she's got to cash that check.
Yeah. Exactly. You got to go all the way.
Yeah, you got to do it now.
Got to do it now. Yeah. We're in it.
You just answer the question. Like, one of my questions is going to be, were there challenges with it?
Yeah, that was the massive challenge. We literally had. I think originally we thought it was going to be like 8 kilos or something like that. We ended up with like over 30 kilos.
Oh wow!
And if you picture the flowers, how light they are, they came in these giants sacks. And then we were trying to steep them in like 80-degree water, so they were pasteurized, making like a dye out of them. And then we were trying to, under pressure with low oxygen, obviously, inject them straight back into the tank.
Oh no!
But the beauty of it is it actually cascades through the glass as well, because it's got body to it, and there's debris from the flowers as such.
Yeah.
You sort of get this lighter color at the top, and it goes through purples, pinks, and reds all the way to the bottom of the glass. But it actually tastes very nice as well. And we had a couple of people say it was their favorite beer of the year. So yeah, it was a nice byproduct of the color and the interest of it. But at the same time, it is actually a gorgeous, really refreshing, easy drinking beer.
It sounds lovely. Sold.
I've got one.
I was just going to say, I was like, I didn't notice them on the website. Are they still on there? Or Joe, can you take it to show?
Yeah, we'll take the next one we're together.
Probably sold out now.
Yeah. I think you probably are, because I feel like I saw it come out, and then it was like you just couldn't find it after that. But that is Amazing.
Well, we're going to do another collab with them this year. So we've been drinking different teas nearly every day. I think today's was a hot cross bun tea.
Oh, interesting.
We've got a Victoria sponge cake coming up, which I'm very excited about doing. Maybe a pastry stout with that one. But yeah, they're awesome, and we'll definitely keep working together.
And you add the actual tea into the beer as well.
So yeah, we broke this one down because of the process of it. So we then got them to give us the tea separate on its own, and the blue pea flower separate on their own, and then we do a tasting. They all came down. We had food and drinks together evening, and then we were doing increments of the color and increments of the tea itself, and finding that sweet spot to make it a true.
So I've worked with tea in beer before. I stole that from Drew at Boutiliers. At what point do you add the tea when you're adding tea to beer?
We really want to control that, etc. We actually do a separate steeping of the tea. I've built a clean in place CIP unit, or sorry, I haven't personally built it, but I designed it. And with our CIP unit, we can actually pressurize one side of it, and the other side of it can pressurize and heat. So with that, we can fill up with bring the water up to basically everything's clean and safe, and then we can add our ingredients, and then we can then purge it with CO2, and we can inject that into tank. But we've also then got a flow meter. So with that, we will do small additions and create a massive spreadsheet where we do really small additions, blind taste it amongst everyone, and then we find some sweet spots what people do and don't like. And it's very important to have a wide range of palettes in to do that. And then we decide that's a sweet spot we're injecting exactly made is going into that beer. So it's controllable, it's safe, and we can really learn that ingredient. How do you put it in?
So I cold brew it, and then I add it. Similar, but in a much smaller scale. I cold brew it, and then just before I bottle, I'll add little bits and taste it before I put it in bottle.
There you go. Yeah,
so
you're building up your base case.
Yeah,
absolutely. We cold brew coffee. So coffee, we will again bring up to 80 degrees with the water, and then we'll cool that down and add our coffee just to try and kill off as many microbes as possible. But we find boiling coffee beans or well pouring coffee beans versus cold ciders, you get such a smoother experience from that coffee, and none of like the lower tannins or harshness or astringency from it. It's much smoother. So yeah, we much prefer to cold steep our coffee.
Yeah, definitely.
It's prime time for you to say that as well, because we like literally just put out our episode that's come out this week was all on coffee. And it was coffee and brewing with coffee.
Have you had the coffee bock?
Oh, I think I've got it in my box over here. I'm gonna have to bring some of these, and we're gonna have to share them.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to share them. We're gonna just do some sharesies.
Yeah.
I'll bring a peace offering. I'll bring something to share. It's fine.
Yeah.
Check out the coffee box. We're exceptionally happy.
I love coffee, so I'm like any coffee beers, like I'm happy with it. Especially when it's like, I actually find like when it's coffee and a beer that's not a stout, I'm almost like more interested in it as well, because then it's even more unique, and I'm like, well, I need to have that now. Like if it's a coffee pale, or we had the coffee double, like we had the coffee double the other day from Phantom in Brew York, and I've had Good Chemistry's coffee pale, and it was amazing, and like all that kind of stuff. When I see coffee used in a way that's not a stout, I'm almost more drawn to it, because I'm like, that's unique, and I love coffee, and I'm all in. But I do love a coffee stout as well. So.
Have you had any of our white stouts in the past?
I don't think I have.
I'm trying to think, because I think I might have. I think I might have, because I love white stouts as well. And I feel like I had it on tap somewhere. So, I can't remember if I did.
We did white stout with a coffee grower in Nicaragua.
Ooh.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Make use of the cherry around the coffee bean.
Oh, wow.
You heard of Pacamara?
No, But I find it interesting that you mentioned that they make use of the coffee cherry, because that was part of, if anyone's listened to this, let's listen to the coffee one. I was, one of the facts that I sort of pulled out was, like, back in the day, they actually think they used to make like a wine out of coffee cherries. And I was saying how it would be so interesting for somebody to come in and utilize coffee cherries nowadays in a beer or a wine or anything, like a wine, like maybe a barley wine or something like that. I said that'd be quite interesting. But then I said, oh, there's got to be some limitations on that though, because to use the coffee cherry, it's got to be pretty fresh and all that. So it's interesting that you're saying they actually utilize the coffee cherry, because I don't think I've heard of many people utilizing that.
They sun dry it and vacuum pack.
Okay.
To do another one this year, but it's peaches and leather and tobacco. Peaches being sort of the lighter note and the sweetness to it, but they are intensely high in caffeine. They are really strong in caffeine, and they were banned in the States for a while. They made them illegal over there for a while. But yeah, I worked producer out in Nicaragua. Where a guy I met spoke to him on the phone, and he used to work for the Senate, and he left Washington and went to this farm and said, look, I'm going to help you guys go direct to the source. We're going to cut out the middle people, and all the money is going to go back into the community. So he started helping them build schools in that area. And yeah, he was like, what do I do with this? Like, I anything you guys can do. So we made a cold press summer white stout, I think it was called, but that was about 3 years ago when I was still brewing at a contract brewery. Yeah,
that does sound amazing. It sounds really interesting. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I gravitate towards, because I'm like, that's interesting. Not just anybody's doing that. I want to try it, and it's, even if it's something that's not normally to my taste. Like, obviously, if it's not normally to my taste, I don't like judge it and go like, oh, that's right, it's not to my taste. But sometimes I go, it's not to my taste, but it sounds so interesting that I just need to try it for myself, and I gravitate towards that stuff just because I'm like like, take pickle beers. I'm like, don't like pickles, but if I see that, I'm like, well, that's really interesting. I need to at least give it a go. And then 9 times out of 10, I'm like, not for me, but 5 out of 5, because you really nailed that. So yeah, I mean, I've had your stouts. I know your stouts are good. Stouts are amazing. So it's like, be so interested to see like the white stouts that you guys do.
Okay, I will bring that back this year. There is definitely a slot for it.
Amazing. We make things happen here.
Yes.
Yeah, we're doing
magic.
Going the notes.
Love it. Speaking of like this year though, are you guys planning on attending any festivals this year, or are you having any specific events that people might want to sort of keep an eye out for and check you guys out at?
Yeah, we're finally going to be able to do a bit of a circuit. So we're on with We Are Beer. We're partners with those guys now. So we're going to be at Bristol, London, Manchester, and Edinburgh. So yeah, we're going to be exciting to us. Touch wood, we will be having our own birthday party, which we've been dying for. So for 3 years, we have a list of things that we have wanted to do, including axes that will be in character for the entire duration of our birthday party, from Mad Hatters to people that are doing card tricks, to artists, many different forms of artists performing throughout the whole festival. We're going to have everyone who's worked and collabed with us to mood over fire and coals. We're really going to push it out. We nearly bought it. We were so close. We were going to have an inflatable giant Stoutzilla character actually floating up in the air like a blip as well. We got loads of ideas. We are hopefully going to really go for it. It might get so big that we need to hire somewhere nearby just to cater for it, but I think that's my most exciting one.
That is exciting. I'm going to definitely going to keep eyes out for that, because that would be but that's the excuse that I need to be like finally getting down there, and I'm going to do it. Right, that sounds amazing.
You got to come.
Yeah, that's it. That is the excuse. So conscious of time, because we don't want to keep you too much longer, because we know you've already been super generous with your time anyways, and it's a weeknight, and we know how your schedule is now, because you just said everything that you do. So we don't want to keep you. But we used to do a thing where we'd have name that beer, and we'd read out to the brewery the description of their beer, and we'd see if they could guess the name of their beer based on that description. And it's literally just 4 beers that we'll read out. Joe and I will alternate, and then you can guess it. I can give you some hints if you want. We can give you ABV hints, I guess, if you want. And then we've decided we're going to create a winner's circle for anyone that gets all 4, because we've got multiple people that have got all 4. No pressure at all. But yeah, we're like, instead of tiebreakers, let's just create a winner's circle. So that's the thing we're going to do now. So do you want to try to enter the winner's circle? Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll go with the first one, because there's one I really want to say. I just want to hear you say the name of this out loud. 6.8% chocolate chip cookie dough stout, using a specialist malt bill and cocoa nibs to create a liquid cookie dough experience.
Chalky chip.
It's not called that though. What is the full name of that?
Dough hard or go home. Go home, dough hard or go home.
Dough hard to go home. Yeah, you got it. I just wanted to hear you say the name of that out loud, and also wanted to use this opportunity to say, please rebrew that, because that sounds fucking amazing. And I really want to try it. That sounds incredible. That is my first one done. You've got one on the board, Joe.
There is a reiteration of that beer coming out, and it will be called Chalky Chip.
Yes.
Yay! Okay, cool. Well, that's me happy then. I can finish this happy. We could just say you hit the winner circle just for doing that. Go on to number 2.
Right, number 2. Full of bright tropical fruits coming from Cryo Citrus, Mosaic, Azaka, and Simcoe. This hoppy number delivers a pillowy, soft mouthfeel in a hazy tropical treat.
That is one of our NEPA series, isn't it?
Yes, I think so.
But they all had numbers, and I can't remember numbers.
This has a name on it.
Yeah, no, this one's words.
This one's words.
It is
3 words. We'll give you that.
Yeah, and it's 6.2%.
So hot right now?
No.
Not so hot right now?
Oh no.
No.
Do you want the answer?
We did so many NEPA.
I was gonna say that is an absolute challenging one then, because I didn't really think about how many NEPAs you did. Joe, do you want to reveal which one it is?
That one was Sweet and Hazy.
Sweet and Hazy, absolutely, yeah. Lovely beer, great beer.
So we'll go to number 3 now. Juicy and tangy with cherries, blackberries, topped with vanilla, honey, and cinnamon.
Oh, that's the collab we did with Brew York. Cherry berry pie.
I'm gonna give it to you because it was cherry berry pastry sour.
Pastry sour.
Cherry berry.
I'm gonna give it to you though, because you said cherry berry, and that was probably
berry.
the most key part of that. So we'll give you that one.
Thank you.
Right.
So just to point out, we do 3 new beers every month.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
To be fair, as I was looking through, there was like
we'll give you a little bit of leeway on that.
I give you a lot of leeway, because I was going through, there was like 120 to choose from, and I was like, I'm just gonna pick from the last few years, because it's there was a lot there, and you get all the leeway, don't worry.
Thank you.
Joe?
Right, last one. A beach belly ready beer with Australian and US hops.
That is 3 Bs.
No.
No way.
This is it. Is you've got so many. You're like,
that is 3 Bs.
No, that's Home and Away.
How can that not be 3 Bs? Oh my gosh, that was a long time ago. That was about
to be fair, she actually picked the hardest one, because that's that's one of the oldest ones on the. I only had the cold pressed summer stout and the Home and Away. Those were like the 2 oldest ones for 2018. She managed to pick the one.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want a redemption one?
We could ruin it. I could think of big hole here.
No. I'm gonna give you a redemption one, right? And it will be one
go on.
from
Last week.
All right, I'll give you one from a year ago, right?
Yes, no.
A lot of them are so difficult because they didn't have names, so I couldn't pick. Like it was like you said, it was
Numbers.
like NEPA number 1 and stuff. And I
Yeah,
was like,
don't
well,
do
shit, I
numbers.
can't
Don't
do
do
that.
those.
That's making it.
No.
I was like, that's
Numbers.
really hard. So I'll give you this one. You just need to know the name because I know you know the beer. A 5.7 cross between a New England and a West Coast pale hop with Idaho 7 Citra and Simcoe. Full tropical flavor and aroma from the hops. A clean malt profile with a mouthfeel that sits between the two much loved styles. And it was a collaboration you did with record label True Thoughts.
Liner notes.
You're correct.
Yay.
See, I'll give you you get the redemption on that one. There you go. Woo! Well, even we're gonna replace that and say you got 3 out of 4 because
just
Joe
edit
asked you
it.
the one from stupid
Yeah.
long ago.
I'll edit it.
We'll edit that out and post.
Make it work.
But yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that concludes kind of everything that we were gonna say.
Yeah.
Really, like anything we were gonna sort of cover. I think that's the peak right there.
Yeah,
that is definitely the
But
peak. And now's your
I've
opportunity to
destroyed
plug.
the rolling win of remembering the
I know,
beers.
it's
I've
alright.
destroyed it, but
You have like a
I'm
million beers.
Yeah.
I think it's fine, and they're all super creative. Like I don't
If you
expect you to
somehow
be
could send the smell down the
Yes,
I
then you
would
just
tell
go,
you
"You're like, I know
exactly
what that
what it
is."
was. Names and numbers I can't remember very well, I must admit.
Well, that's exactly why there were so many of them that were numbers, and I was like, oh no, like I was like, I can't ask these ones. I was like, that's not fair, because how are you going to be like, that was definitely number 3. I was like, that's not fair.
Oh no.
But yeah, now's your
No,
opportunity
I'll take that.
to plug anything you want.
Anything you want to plug?
Oh, so our latest collaboration with Fallen Acorn, who come from a background of traditional brewing. My mentor was the ex-head brewer of Green King. It was really great to do something all about the malts. So we have done a wee heavy with heather and honey.
Oh, amazing.
And that'll be coming out this week. We are doing a launch in our tap room on Friday, as are they, but they are also going to be down in Southsea with our team at the Greenwich, and they'll be doing a launch and a promo there for it as well. So yeah, if you get an opportunity this week, keep your eyes out or come down and see us.
Amazing.
Where can people find you on social media? Are you on Instagram, Facebook?
Oh, we're very fortunate. If you put Unbarred into anywhere, we seem to come up at the top.
Nice. That was a good choice of name.
No, that is brilliant. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us
Thank you, guys.
It's really appreciated.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
No, thanks a lot. You take care.
And I really enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, that was really fun. It was really fun.
Right.
And I feel like he's just such a lovely person as well. Like the stuff he was saying and the flavors that he plays with, like, just makes me want to go and drink more Unbarred because it's so interesting.
So interesting. And like just like the way that they're playing with things, and the different brewing processes that they're doing, and the community that they're building, like
and all like
the boxes.
Like the charity stuff, and I'm just very keen in just drinking even more. I think for me, like that's the thing, is I can find them probably a lot easier than maybe some other people because I'm not massively far away. So they maybe are like a bit more. It's kind of like that thing with Phantom of like, you were like, I didn't really know much about them until I mentioned it because it was close to me, but equally there were places that I didn't know near you because it just wasn't close enough. So I've definitely like seen them a bunch before, and like bought them when I've gone out places and stuff, but probably obviously not as much as if I were actually literally in Brighton. But it just makes me want to go and buy more from them because I said the flavors just so interesting. When I was doing my research, I genuinely properly was like, should I just put one in the basket, or like, and then
Just
I was like,
enabling
no,
you.
it was that I can only describe it as like that scene from The Grinch with Jim Carrey when he's like, I'm going to the party, and then he's like, I'm not, I am, I'm
Yes,
not,
no,
I
yes,
am.
no,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
no.
that was me. I was like, I should order this, and then I was like, no, yes, no,
No.
yes,
No.
no, okay. And then I was like, no, be good for now.
Be an
And
adult.
then just talking to him, I'm like,
Oh, I want to buy more beer now.
okay, fine,
Yeah,
I'll do
fine.
it.
Fine, I'll give you my money.
Fine, I'll do it.
So
yeah.
basically, the moral of this story is please go and buy Unbarred beer, but
Support good people and good beer.
not until we've bought some.
Yeah. After, again, as usual, people follow the drill. We buy it, then you can
have
buy it
it
when I've had what I wanted. Because I am selfish and greedy, and I want to talk to you about good beers, but I want to drink them. So if I don't have them, nobody can. Ha ha ha. I'm just kidding. On that note, I'm excited. I want to go finish the rest of my cold IPA and my juicy, because they were very good beers, and I just want to go drink them. So, Joe.
Yes.
Over to you. Where can people find you? I'm not even going to give you a prompt. I'm just going to throw it over to you because I want to drink this beer.
Yeah, you can find me. You can find me in all the places. You can find A Woman's Brew, which was my personal account, but it's basically the podcast account now.
Spoiler alert! I think we might be coming up.
Commandeer it. Yeah,
there's some changes that might be coming in the future. Positive changes.
Yes.
But
watch this space for those because we have plans. But you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as A Woman's Brew. There will be mostly podcast content on that one. If you'd like to speak to me, the one that I check more regularly, and if you'd like to come and learn about beer styles, talking about beer, drinking beer, brewing beer, come to my beer school, Love Beer Learning. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest. We also have a website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk, and you can get hold of me at lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. We are currently picking up emails for the podcast there as well. Tori, where can they find you?
Yeah, if you want to come talk to me about amazing people in the industry that I need to check out and give
Who do
my
we
money
need
to,
who
like
do we need to
Unbarred,
speak to?
give your money to good people that make good products. I'm going to do that with Unbarred. If there's anybody else that I should know about that I need to give my money to that I don't already, come and find me on Instagram. I'm adventures_in_optimism.
And you'll find some interesting content on both of ours at the moment about a certain brew day that we did recently.
Oh, yes.
Watch out for the podcast on that.
I did have a moment where there's going to be some very interesting content, and I was like, what have I posted recently? But you were right. Really good stuff.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. And I've got some good TikToks on there now.
You are doing beer TikToks now. Yeah. There's some good ones.
But on that note, let's go drink our cold IPAs before they get warm.
Yeah.
Cheers.